Okay, people, Bleach is getting a brand new story. That's right, a brand new story as well as 2 brand new characters. And you're probably thinking like, yo, what? You're talking about the Hell arc that's supposed to be coming with the manga? No. This is actually a Bleach brand new story that takes place in somewhat of a different time period. I'll just say that because the Hell arc actually takes place way after the end of the Bleach story, while this story, it takes place after the war, but yeah, in a different time period. And not to mention the fact that we got a really epic trailer that came out for Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War Final Core that gave us some epic eyes and stuff that you're gonna be like, yo! Alongside a new trailer for the Black Clover anime that kind of has some people concerned, but at the same time, it just looks so good that it's really like a difficult task in and of itself to really kind of wrap your brain around. Alongside some really interesting stuff as well in the world of JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure, Steel Ball Run, Pokemon, Star Wars. We got a lot of stories up in this place, so without further ado, let's jump into another exciting episode of Whatever News! Okay, people, so yes, there was some major news for the world of Bleach in the recent convention for anime and manga, and, well, in particular, for starters, one of the major things that has a lot of people talking right now is 2 new characters were introduced into the world of Bleach via this upcoming, I believe it's a mobile game, but it's very interesting because normally with Bleach's mobile games, what we've seen historically, they don't really introduce new and exclusive characters, but this one in particular got 2 new characters. Bleach to continue with new story after Thousand Year Blood War and debuts new characters. Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War might be ending Tite Kubo's long-running Bleach story with its 4th and final season later this month, but it's now been revealed that Bleach's story will be continuing after this final arc with new characters taking center stage of a surprising new project. Bleach fans have a lot to be excited for this summer as the anime prepares to reach the grand finale that fans of Tite Kubo's manga have been waiting to see for 10 long years, but it's going to be far from the end of the story. Bleach has had plenty to showcase for the franchise as it took the center stage during the Anime Expo 2026 weekend, and that included a new look at the Bleach Mirror's High mobile game release. This new title revealed the first look at what to expect from the next phase of the story, and it will be picking up right after the events of the Thousand Year Blood War arc. It's also going to introduce 2 new characters designed by Tite Kubo himself. Bleach Mirror's High has yet to confirm a worldwide release date for when it fully launches, but the concept for its story is immediately interesting right off the bat, because while Kubo technically ended the Thousand Year Blood War arc with an epilogue set years after the fact, and even returned for a one-shot that picked up the story with the start of a whole new arc, there was a great deal of time left unexplored in the story. We never got to see the immediate fallout of Yhwach's defeat and what it means for the 3 worlds. Tite Kubo revealed that he contributed to Bleach Mirror's High and explained that he had been involved with the project from the jump. He ended up working on the scenario for the story as well, which he teases is partially related to the main canon. But Kubo also designed 2 new characters who will be the main focus, Shirin Migishima and Shirane Sanari. And before we continue, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notified on all the videos that we got coming in the world of anime and manga news. And I ain't gonna lie, based off the design, it's definitely very interesting. They added a new blonde, Shirane Sanari, and a new redhead, Shirin Migishima. And based off one of the promo visuals again for this new Bleach Mirror's High, taking it up high as far as I'm gonna say the success that Bleach can do, the designs are really interesting, and it feels like Tite Kubo has been wanting to do stuff like this for quite some time. If you go back to the Bleach story, especially in the manga, the anime didn't really play it up as much. At the very least, I think they've already been introduced, but there was some new characters that it seemed like Kubo was really trying to make like, you know, a very big deal. Didn't really go that route, but with this in particular, not gonna lie, these 2 new characters are very interesting to say the least, and it's very much so more important because Kubo himself is the one that brought these characters into existence. On top of the fact that the story from this game is going to take place after the Thousand Year Blood War, so this is kind of, think like if we're talking Naruto realm or whatnot, the last Naruto, the movie era where it was after the Naruto manga but before Boruto, this essentially is the same concept. So even though we have that rumored or leaked new Bleach manga that takes place, you know, the Hell arc basically way after the end of the Bleach manga, this is going to take place in between those 2 parts of that time skip, which some major shonen have done stuff like this in the past. For example, look at Dragon Ball Super. It takes place between the end of Majin Buu but before the end of Z, and this is a similar concept. Honestly, the only thing that I'm thinking is I wish that this was more so utilized, this concept of a story taking place in between these 2 time periods, more so for like an original anime or an original manga, stuff like that. The fact that they're utilizing this for a video game, it could be good, and at the end of the day, there's still massive amounts of time where stuff could happen in between those 2 parts, parts, but it definitely makes it feel more important than just a typical, you know, regular mobile game, because this is actually one, Kubo being a part of this whole thing, and two, story in a place where we haven't really had much exploration, so to speak. So these two new characters, again, this blonde and this redhead, are going to be pretty important at the very least for things to come, at the very least when it comes to this video game, introducing them as an idea and a concept to the whole Bleach world. Then as far as Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War, the final part, yes, we got a new trailer that really much so was just epic, and for the most part for this person right here, Sosuke Aizen was the star of that whole thing for me when he says the epic line. But it says here, Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War is returning for its final season later this month, and an awesome new trailer was released showing off a cool look at these final episodes to come. Bleach Thousand Year Blood War is capping off a decade of waiting for the anime adaptation to end its run, and we'll finally get to see the final few chapters of Tite Kubo's original Bleach manga come to life after all this time. Now we've gotten a cool final look at these episodes before their upcoming premiere this month, and again, it was during this anime convention of 2026 that we got a final trailer released for these episodes, and they reveal a much fuller look at the big key battles, such as the now in action final clash between Ichigo and Yhwach. And something very important is the fact that Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Part 4, The Calamity, will be making its debut on July 25th as part of the summer 2026 anime schedule, streaming exclusively with Hulu in the United States and Disney Plus in international territories. So it's technically a Hulu title over here in the States, and it's Disney Plus everywhere else. And of course, this will be released weekly, and honestly, this is one of those cases where if there's any critique possible out there, is the fact of, I guess, maybe a saddening thing that, damn, this has to end, because the trailer looks absolutely phenomenal. It gives us even more of a showcase of Ichigo and the final battle against Yhwach. It gives you Aizen looking epic as heck. It gives you so many different things. A little bit on the spoiler territory, in particular about Kenpachi and a new form that hasn't been showcased just yet. So yeah, that's definitely something of a spoiler, but nevertheless, this thing is about to be insane. And again, it's crazy that not only we have this new anime, you know, final season to wrap things up, but we also got this new game that's going to give us more story all around. Bleach once again takes a major win, because yeah, not to mention the fact that we got again that rumor slash leak of the Hell arc returning for possibly a serialization and weekly Shonen Jump. What more could you ask for? Bleach is honestly on a major win right now, and you can't be mad at it at all. But definitely let me know what you think. How do you feel? What do you think about these new characters that are being introduced? Again, this blonde character and this redhead. Are you excited for it? Are you excited for the story that takes place? Honestly, if anything is going to drive you to play this game, is the fact that, okay, there's new characters and it takes place in this timeline that we haven't really got exploration into. Now, mind you, oftentimes these time periods in between two parts of the end of a big shonen manga are usually times a piece, so I'm not sure how big these threats are going to get. Again, in the last, outside of the Toneri Otsutsuki stuff, there wasn't supposed to have been many big threats, hence why they probably never really did a focusing in on that time period. But there's always the possibility of going the Super route, where Super just ignored that whole thing of there was supposed to be peace after the Buu saga, and well, we've seen there's been nothing but, you know, crazy battles, intergalactic beings coming from space, and like, it's just been insane. Oh, and just quickly, I wanted to add in for, you know, there's some people that still be naysayers regarding anime, or they still be a little bit, whether it be embarrassed or ashamed, or they just be a little bit whoa regarding their outward enjoyment of anime, or, you know, this space in general. But a very famous tennis player, Naomi Osaka, recently gave a little bit of a nod towards Bleach with her Wimbledon kimono. She said, "The kimono, we had to get it from Japan. There's this anime called Bleach. It's one of my favorites. I don't want to bore you, but anyway, I feel like I'm channeling a character from that whenever I wear the kimono in that way." So yeah, for those that are still sleeping on anime, or still feeling like, you know, maybe you're better than anime fans because you're whatever into, you know, whatever hobbies and interests, and you look down on it, day after day, there's just more and more demonstrations that you can feel that way, but majority of the world and many others feel differently. And yeah, anime is kind of, you know what I'm saying, we occupy a space that is just a whole different level of swag. Mind you, not everybody, but you know, you get the point. Now, Black Clover fans, we recently got, again at this anime convention, a massive new trailer for the Black Clover anime return that happens in October. And again, this trailer was just like, wow. Many different scenes from the trailer alone looked movie quality. It was just like, oh, and similar to the Bleach trailer that we just recently spoke about, there was some scenes in there that were a little bit spoilerific. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, whoa, but it still looked epic. However, there is some conversation that's going on right now based on the pacing of what's been said thus far and what looks like is happening, that Black Clover could possibly be rushed. And what I mean by that is essentially Black Clover, in order to adapt everything realistically with an incredibly great pacing, you need like 36 to 48 type of deal. You need like 4 cores essentially of 12 episodes each in order to make this thing feel complete without rushing things. But for example, info like this, according to info and leaks, it's going to be 12 or 13 episodes till the Lucifero fight. They're literally using the line from the Lucifero fight, so only another season for the end. So say for example, this season 2 return only ends up being like 12 or 13 episodes, which it should definitely be 24 episodes. Not sure if there's a confirmation on that or not. But if essentially they start rushing things like to, you know, just pass through the Lucifero fight, like if we end this season with, let's just say 13 episodes, and it ends off with the big reveal of, well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but y'all know the big reveal after the Lucifero fight. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Then yeah, that's going to be a major disappointment as far as pacing goes. It's like, we want this thing to succeed, and at the same time, it's not completely solidified that like certain events are going to happen like that, because even let's just say they do go to that route, right? Let's just say episode 12 or 13, we get the big reveal or whatnot. There was still quite a bit of manga after the fact where we had to like visit a different nation or two. Like there was a few different things that took quite a bit of time before we even got to the final battle. So it still very well could be that they do 12 or 13 and then another 12 or 13 and then another one to kind of wrap it all up. Because if you look at it, Puro's been planning to make the Black Clover IP more bigger and popular. It wouldn't make sense to end the whole IP in 2 years, because if they do 2 sets of 12 and we only get 24 episodes, well, honestly, from a business standpoint, would that really maximize profits? Based on this TV Tokyo financial report script, ahead of Naruto's 25th anniversary in 2027, TV Tokyo wants to build up a worldwide Naruto boom, right? But also, Black Clover, Bleach, and Gintama, which the author of Gintama recently returned to Weekly Shonen Jump, and of course Bleach has so many things going for it, are lined up as the next titles for global expansion following Naruto. So if they got plans to do global expansion, I don't think they're just going to rush this thing out the door. I mean, it could happen. It could be that they're betting on like the anime being so widely popular that, you know, they'll just essentially make all the money that they possibly could off of licensing those 2 seasons, but time will tell. And we also got word from Tabata, because here it says, Black Clover creator teases intense magic battles after season 2 trailer release. Black Clover is ready to return with a new season of the anime after 5 long years, and the creator behind it all is teasing some intense magic battles in season 2 after the launch of its newest trailer. Black Clover is making its return later this year as one of the most anticipated sequel returns of the last few years overall, and it's looking even better with each new preview fans get of the new episodes in action. And with the latest trailer, the creator behind it all has shared more of his thoughts. Black Clover took the stage during the big Anime Convention 2026 weekend, and where its fans in attendance got to see an early premiere of season 2's very first episode. But for those who weren't able to attend, luckily there's been plenty to show with a new trailer teasing explosive battles. And a new comment from Black Clover series creator Yuki Tabata, the creator is ready to watch all of these major battles take place too. After thanking fans for their support and waiting for Black Clover season 2 for such a long time, series creator Yuki Tabata noted how his perspective on things had been changing after the ending of the manga. He said, I've had more and more moments where I just watch the characters and take them in slowly, and now it feels like I'm becoming a fan of theirs myself. It's meant that he's also been able to look at this upcoming season in a much different kind of light, and is looking forward to seeing what's coming next, much like fans are. So for that reason, I'm incredibly looking forward to the charm of the characters and the powerful, intense magic battles that only the anime can bring to life. And here's his exact quote: while I was drawing the series, it felt like the characters were running alongside me. Now that it's over, I just watch them and I'm slowly becoming a fan of theirs myself. I'm incredibly looking forward to season 2. I'm sure it will satisfy all of us. So to all the readers, please look forward to it with me. And honestly, it's just really awesome to see, first of all, that Yuki Tabata has been kind of freed from, you know, the shackles of having to do that type of lifestyle, in particular with the publication that he was in, you know, that whole every other 3 months or whatever. That was just like, I don't know. But I'm not going to start getting into that topic right there. And it's also interesting to see that he's having a different perspective, because when you're creating manga, for example, one of the major things that, well, this person right here has encountered is the fact that just because you have an idea, initially starting off while you're creating, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the exact way that it all transpires. Sometimes your work can take on a life of its own, and even though you thought the story was going to go this way, or you had an idea per se of like the stylized aspect, doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the final thing. Now obviously there's certain parts of a story that, you know, they're going to stay like that no matter what. Like if you have an idea and you want certain aspects, like these two characters are going to be together no matter what, and this is going to happen, then more than likely, as long as you stay firm on your ideas and you know your feelings on it, of course it's going to go that way. But then sometimes the story can morph on its own, and that's something that kind of Tabata was demonstrating with that thing of like they were running alongside him, and now he just gets to sit back and watch it all unfold while he's probably also working on something else. So shout outs to Tabata. Then for fans of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure franchise, which in case you don't know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, very long running series, has multiple different parts, multiple different protagonists or whatnot, but we got the new one that recently debuted with like a first episode, and it kind of had some fans upset because they were like, yo dog, why are you gonna give us one episode and then make everyone wait, even though that's pretty much the same concept of what was done with like the latest teaser of like thousands of people being able to watch the first episode of Kagurabachi and Black Clover's upcoming return, but whatever. Because it says here, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run officially returns to Netflix September 25th. Stage 2 and 3 will have 11 episodes in total, which I'm wondering, is that going to be like just like the first levels of this thing? Because I highly doubt any part of JoJo's, except maybe like the first part that wasn't that long at all, could adapt the entirety of the story within that amount of episodes. If you include the first episode, that would basically be like 12 to 13 episodes of content, and there's no way that that could adapt everything. Because it says here, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run's anime second stage begins September 25th. Warner Brothers announced during its Anime Expo panel on Friday for the Steel Ball Run JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime that the second stage will begin September 25th. New episodes will stream every week on Fridays, so they listen to the fans, and there will be 11 episodes in total for the second and third stages, including the first episode. That's basically 12, and the first episode was like a double episode, so it's almost like 13. Netflix stated that the series will have a split core quarter of a year, which usually means an anime airs for roughly 3 months, then takes a break for 3 months or longer before returning for another 3-month run. Which some people are going to be like, oh my god, we was just talking about that with the Black Clover situation, and now here comes JoJo's doing that. It's almost like it's mirroring the same schedule. What's going on here? The first stage of the anime of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run Part 7 debuted on Netflix March 19th with one 47-minute episode. And for those that are curious, maybe you've never gotten into JoJo's for starters, each part, for the most part, you can watch without watching all the other parts. So this part right here, especially this part right here, because it's essentially like a massive reboot, but not really, of the entirety of the JoJo's story. Because if you've at all even gotten a glimpse of what happens at the end of Part 6, you would know that there's no way to continue any of the adventures of all of that. And again, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but yeah, Part 7 is a brand new anime almost that you can basically get into without having watched the first 6 parts, although you probably would want to, because yeah. Viz Media describes the first volume as riders from around the world gather in the Wild West for the race of the century. Johnny Joestar, a former jockey paralyzed from the waist down, comes to spectate and momentarily regains the ability to walk while watching a duel fought by Gyro Zappelli. Desperate to learn more about this power, Johnny joins the race alongside Gyro and embarks on the most epic and bizarre race to ever cross the American frontier. And don't worry, again, trust in Araki, he's been doing this JoJo stuff for a very long time, so there's nothing to worry about there. And ultimately, yeah, seems like there's more stuff to come, and it seems like the end of this year there's going to be more anime for everybody to enjoy. In particular, if you're a JoJo's fan, there you go. And then I got a few other things that I just want to get into real quick. For starters, we got a new trailer for Mashle Magic and Muscles Season 3, which will begin in January 2027. And for the most part, that trailer looked pretty good. And if you don't know about Mashle Magic and Muscles, think like Rock Lee from Naruto in a way, where he couldn't use jutsu. He basically had to rely on his physical capabilities. That's a similar concept. It's a dude in a magic-filled world that can't use magic and has to rely on his might, and he's in this whole ordeal at this magic school. It's very interesting. You may like it. Honestly, Mashle is one of my faves. Then this one right here was very much so an exciting thing for me. The Pokemon franchise will be reportedly airing on both Disney and Disney XD on August 6th after the rights were reacquired by Walt Disney Company. The franchise will also reportedly stream on Disney Plus on August 7th. So Pokemon is coming to Disney. This is going to be like This is great news. This is fantastic news. If you know, you know is all I'm gonna say. And I'm very much so looking forward to seeing what this is going to bring about as far as, well, more great Pokemon stuff to come, right? And lastly, the first trailer for Star Wars Visions, the 9th Jedi anime series, has been released. That will be coming out August 5th on Disney. And I ain't gonna lie, it looks awesome. The main character has a really sick design. Honestly, from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be really good as well. And hey, Star Wars and anime, let's see what they do with this thing. Honestly, I think that this could be very good. The trailer looks good. Main character seems like a beast, and I'm here for it. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. What was your favorite story that I covered? That's all I have for this one. I'm Tim. As always, people, have an awesome day. Peace in, and thanks for watching another episode of Fornever News. Peace in.